This is the Undefeated Sports Network. Sport Court, and Court is in session.
What's up, everybody, and welcome into another episode of Sport Court right here on the Undefeated Sports Network. As always, I am Andrew Tarbill. To my left is our guy, Angelo Ace Camacho. You are now tuned into Sport Court, and Court is in session. What's up, Ace? How we doing tonight, man?
What's up, Tarbill? How you been, man? I know it's been a minute since we've been on to talk. We're talking a lot of Bears today, which is my favorite topic to talk about.
Mine as well, as you know.
During the pre-show, you were like, I don't think we've spoken since the draft, and I forgot that I had gone on with the Irish Bears show to talk draft, so I thought we had talked draft, but we have not. So we could break down a little bit of the draft and get your thoughts on, what the Bears did, and then we can talk a little bit about the schedule that came out yesterday.
Absolutely. So a lot of big news coming out here for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, nothing to be expected when it comes to shocking announcements. The Bears and the Packers will be playing week 1 in Soldier Field. Justin Fields versus Jordan Love. Kind of odd to be saying that, right? Honestly,
it is.
It just feels a little bit different. A new era has turned over in Green Bay.
Normally, I'd be like, God damn it, my football season's going to get off to a terrible start because I got to deal with Aaron Rodgers. Well, that's not the case anymore. But now there's
some hope, right?
No, there is all hope.
Obviously, Jordan Love's first NFL career start. Justin Fields going into his third year, second season
at home,
in this offense.
Bears, Packers, nah. That screams.
No better way to open up the season, right?
Right, that screams like Bears 34, Packers 12.
I saw
13,
on Twitter a bunch of people were saying like Bears by 1 million, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're Bears fans, so there's only one. If the Bears don't win by 100 points, right? If the Bears don't win by 100 points, then what's the point?
No, but ultimately Bears-Packers opener again. As I said, we're starting a new era here with the Jordan Love and Justin Fields rivalry and how that will develop over the course of the next few years.
Right.
I will be really interested to see if I'm going to say even by the end of the season that Jordan Love is still the starter in Green Bay. There's a lot of unproven talent there, and
I don't see how he wouldn't be just because of who else do they have on that team. Like, I don't know.
Valid point. It's not like they have a rock star sitting on the bench.
Right, right. So, I mean, I don't know. The Bears, Packers, I'm happy that they play first. Gives you a little bit of a sneak preview of Jordan Love. I don't think he's going to be, obviously he's not going to be Aaron Rodgers, right?
He's not going to be Aaron Rodgers good, right?
Right.
We've talked about this many times. Like, the statistical probability of the Packers having 3 back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks is less than 1%. I mean, at this point...
I'll tell you right now, if it happens, I will never watch football again. That is 100%.
If it happens, it's rigged, right?
I can't handle 15 more years of the BS that we've been through.
And you will handle it if you have to, but ultimately as Bears fans, it's exciting, and it's a good time to be a Bears fan. There were a lot of moves in the draft that I really liked. But before we get into that, I do want to say that I think Ryan Poles has done a tremendous job through his first 2 seasons here as general manager of the Chicago Bears. The roster that we had last season was obviously not good. There were many holes to fill throughout the season, and Poles really helped, along with Coach Eberflus, keep the energy high in the locker room and, keep the atmosphere good at Hallis Hall throughout the entire season. Then you go out and you do exactly what you say you're going to do and make some big splash moves. And Free agency, obviously, we've had acquisitions at guard. Obviously, the biggest acquisition of the offseason, DJ Moore, who, if he had started for the Bears since his rookie year, would be our all-time leading receiver. Crazy to say that, right? I mean, this guy is literally going to be the best talent that we've ever had at wide receiver.
Yeah.
And
other than that, it was what, Brandon Marshall when the Bears traded for him?
yeah, Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, obviously, both of those guys when they were in their primes. But ultimately, we've had so much promise at the number one receiver spot. And just like the quarterback, we've been let down time and time again. The Bears draft Kevin White, and we think he's going to be every answer that Bears fans have ever hoped for at the position. And then he can't even see the field and stay healthy.
Right.
The Bears acquire Allen Robinson from the Jags and think he's going to be the savior of this franchise. So,
and I mean, he did well like the first
he did
year,
well
2
for
years, and then all of
yeah.
a sudden he was just like, I'm done with this.
I'm going to jog half speed, but if you had Mitch Trubisky throwing you the ball, you probably wouldn't give it 100% either, right?
I mean, that's probably all you had to jog was half speed because Mitch couldn't throw the ball down the field. So,
but no, I mean, looking forward to this season, man. Poles has done a phenomenal job. Obviously, really excited about DJ Moore. Nate Davis was a great acquisition. I'm hearing rumblings that there's a potential trade in the works for a player out of New York, the defensive end.
Really?
The guy's name's eluding me. He's only 27, played college ball at Auburn, and I believe he started his career with the Cincinnati Bengals before moving over to the Jets.
I don't know who it is. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Yeah, pull his name up for us. But it was said on the score today that, Poles was on there and he was saying that he was really interested in going after a defensive end, and that's a position that we still need to add some depth to, obviously. And Poles has done everything he said he's going to do thus far. So if he's saying on the radio that he's going to go out and make those moves, more than likely we're going to have a new piece to this team. I don't think it's Chase Young from Washington. I don't think that they move on from him.
Carl Lawson? Is that who it is?
Carl Lawson, yes.
Oh,
I knew his first name was Carl. The last name was eluding me, but Carl Lawson, 27-year-old guy, played college ball at Auburn. Really high motor. Not necessarily a guy that's going to go out and get a ton of sacks and just be a world beater, but a guy that would definitely add some depth and competition to this defensive line. And I think it makes a lot of sense if the price is right to go out and move for a guy like that.
Right.
But with that being said, I mean, let's just get right into it, Ace. So the Chicago Bears, with their first draft pick at number 10, because they moved back one spot with the Eagles.
Yep.
I know you and our guy Vince were a little upset with the trade back value that the Bears got for moving back one spot with Philly. Although Poles pretty much came out and said without saying that Jalen Carter was never on their board.
Right. They weren't even looking at him at all. So
you move back a spot, you get a comp pick next year, whatever. It's said and done with now. But obviously with the number 10 spot, the Chicago Bears select Darnell Wright, a guy who's an absolute world beater. Right tackle last year at Tennessee, was facing some of the best talent there is in the SEC. I mean, he was going up against guys like Will Anderson Jr. and Jalen Carter.
Right, and he was shutting them down.
So it's been a long time since the Bears have had a first-round talent at tackle. And I think, obviously, the price you pay to solidify your offensive line is going to get those guys in the first round and even into the second round, really. Historically, the Bears have been a 5th through 7th round team when it comes to drafting linemen. Charles Speed Bump Leno Jr. comes to mind.
First, what was he, a 6th round draft pick? I mean,
7th round.
7th round. So, I mean, he
played so well. He went to Washington and ended the career of a quarterback. Like,
all right, so
Ryan Fitzpatrick retired because he got annihilated due to him being an insufficient blocker. But no, going back to Darnell Wright, obviously this guy is a better talent than we've had on our offensive line in many, many years. I mean, ultimately, I believe you've solidified the offensive line at this point. You go and you get Nate Davis. You've obviously still got Tevin Jenkins in the rotation there for guard.
Right.
Now you've got Darnell Wright playing right tackle. Braxton Jones will probably get the start at left tackle to start the season, I would imagine. Maybe they move Darnell and Braxton around. We'll see. I mean, Darnell said he's willing to play either side of the ball. He'll go wherever coach needs him to go. However, I think you probably see Braxton Jones start there. And then obviously Cody Whitehair moving back over to center. Cody's been a vet on this line for a few years now. Obviously, $14 million is kind of a hefty price to pay for a guy that's moving from guard back to center, but ultimately, I think Cody will do a better job than Sam Mustipher would have done. So,
yeah, he was awful too. I'm surprised that the Bears didn't address even a backup center. I know Lucas Patrick is still on the team, but dude can't stay healthy. And how are you going to rely on a guy who, he played 2 games all season, maybe 3?
Yeah, there was the kid out of Georgia, I believe, that was a center, went in like the 6th round.
Yep.
I would have liked to see the Bears go after him late. However, they didn't. They chose to add some depth in the later rounds that, quite frankly, there's a couple moves that I don't want to say I don't understand, but that I would have liked to see him go with some other players there, and that's one of them. But, looking at this draft as a whole, I think Poles did a really solid job. Obviously, Darnell Wright, big-time tackle, going to be an immediate impact player. And then in the second and third, to go back-to-back defensive linemen and really show that, you want to solidify these trenches and that's important to you. I think I like both the second and third round picks. My only comment really with that is I believe Pickens was probably the better talent out of the two, so I was surprised that he was still there in the third.
Right. I mean, the Bears ranked 31st in run defense last year. Second to last. So
to last.
The way I look at it is,
you can only be better, right?
I mean, you could be worse, but the odds of them being worse,
statistically,
yeah. I mean,
they're
I would
about
think
the same as the odds of Jordan Love being a Hall of Fame quarterback. Right.
I think that having picked up those 2 guys, I think it's going to definitely solidify, give a little bit of depth to that defensive line. I was really I like the running back that they got from Texas. I think the backup to
So here's the thing. From what I heard from my sources, the Bears were going to take Bijan Robinson at 9 if he was available. Atlanta swoops in and takes Bijan Robinson at 8.
Thank God.
Don't say thank God.
No, that would have been I'm telling you right now, if the Bears would have drafted a running back at number 9, I would have punched my television. And I'm not that kind of a person. I'm not that guy that's going to throw things at a TV when the Bears lose. I just sit and sulk on the couch for 45 minutes and realize that, all right, well, life
and then
goes
we
on,
do a
so
post-game show. And
and then we do a post-game show where we're pissed off and talk about the trash we just watched on TV. But I'm telling you, the fact that the Falcons moved up, or the Falcons drafted a running back first in the top 10, let alone the first round, like...
Hey, I'm a guy that doesn't draft running backs in the first round. I totally agree with that principle.
No shot.
However,
especially a guy that was
Bijan
used as
Robinson
much as him
is going to be a generational talent. That guy is Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley combined in all of the best ways. He is going to be a world beater for the Atlanta Falcons.
Maybe.
Or at least
that's the thing. Maybe.
For at least 2 to 3 seasons.
I'd rather have a guy that held his own against 2 of the top defensive players in this draft this year that can help protect your quarterback than a running back.
Hey, I understand the logic, and I'm just saying Bijan, crazy, phenomenal talent. But with that being said, back to the Bears, right? Because nobody cares what the Atlanta Redbirds are doing.
You watched that video?
I did.
Yeah.
So for those of you that haven't seen it, the Tennessee Titans put out their draft or their schedule video yesterday, and they went down to one of the main streets in Nashville and had people read off what teams they were playing, and literally every one of them was wrong. And someone called the Atlanta Falcons the Atlanta Redbirds.
Yeah, and they thought that the Colts were the Cowboys because of the horseshoe.
Twice.
It was terrible.
Twice. It was hilarious. But back to our Chicago Bears, I think that they made the right move with Darnell Wright. Although I did hear rumblings that they were going to take Bijan Robinson if he was there at 9. Ultimately, we moved back a spot, and we take the position that we needed to draft, Ace. You can have it.
Yeah, I mean,
Darnell Wright. So now you've solidified your offensive line. You're protecting Justin Fields. You're taking all of the excuses away, right?
Exactly. And that's what you needed this season. I don't care. I do care how the defense plays, obviously. But the biggest thing this year you needed to find out was, is Justin Fields that guy? Because if he struggles, if he shows you that he can't step up and be that guy, that's why it was so important that they got that first-round draft pick next year. Because now you have 2 picks next year. So if Fields isn't the guy, you can utilize those 2 picks to move up and get a quarterback that you want. Right now,
if Fields isn't the guy, Carolina's going to be horrible, and you're going to have a top 5 pick and can take a quarterback anyway.
I mean, maybe they'll be horrible. That division is terrible.
They're going to be horrible. Bryce Young is 185 pounds soaking wet and 5'10". I mean, if you watch some of the camp tape already, he just looks small out there, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's tiny.
That was a move I didn't understand. I would have taken C.J. Stroud myself if I were the Panthers. Especially with, the offensive scheme that they've ran over the years has lent its skills to guys like P.J. Walker, who's now the Bears' backup quarterback, Cam Newton, obviously, in the past, and, guys like that are both mobile and can throw the ball downfield. Cam, before he got hurt and went vegan, could throw the ball downfield. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Just looking at this season as a whole, like you said, this is a prove-it year for Justin Fields. So, we've taken away all of the excuses pretty much. We've solidified the offensive line. We go out and get a top-tier number 1 receiver. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that would argue that DJ Moore he's definitely a top 10 receiver in the league.
Yeah.
If not top 5.
Without doubt. I don't know, maybe not top 5. Top 10 I could see. Top 5, that's a little stretch, but.
Okay. Anyways, I'd say he's probably right around there on the cusp, maybe like 6 or 7. We got a comment here from Brent in the chat. So when and how will we know if Fields is the guy? Well, let's go ahead and get into that right now, Ace, because I do like that question.
Mm-hmm.
I think we will know Fields is the guy. I'm going to say he needs to throw for an average of 250 yards or more per game throughout this season. I'm okay with the running. Let's run as much as, when there's nothing there, let's run. Let's be smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be situational about it. We don't need to get our quarterback hurt. I don't think it's sustainable for Justin Fields to run for another 1,100 yards this season.
Mm.
I think if he has 3,500 yards passing and 500 yards on the ground,
sign me up for that.
I would love to see that. Lots of people don't realize or have forgotten that Justin Fields really was a pocket passer when he was at Ohio State.
Yep.
Obviously, the situation was much better there for him. Top-tier talent on the offensive line, top-tier talent as in the receivers. I think that, it's a prove-it year for him, but it's also about sustainability in a way that, we can't go out and expect this guy to rush for 1,000 yards.
So
he's going to put himself out in 5 years.
Let me get into some Justin Fields talk. Brent, I love the comment because I think it's really going to be interesting. I think Fields you'll know if this season's going to be a success for Justin Fields by week 4.
Really?
Because
that early, huh?
Well, I mean, think about it. It's the second year in this system, right? He's got a better offensive line, right? Better wide receiver weapons. He should theoretically be taking a step at running back. Exactly. But he should theoretically be taking a step forward, right? So the offense last season, for a good stretch there, was throwing 30 points a game, right? So you're hoping to see that kind of productivity starting this season. You got better weapons for him. You got a guy in Cole Kmet who you utilized poorly to start last season, but now I think they're going to get him involved more in the passing game. So
I don't know. Hub Arkish says that Cole Kmet doesn't like Justin Fields. And
yeah, well, they seem to like each other when they were playing,
Right.
you know, dapping up and everything. So I think by week 4, and it's not record based. I don't care. They could put up 35 points and lose, and it's what it is.
Right.
I think you're going to know by how he's playing, how he looks in the pocket, if he's, because last season he was afraid to make that tight throw. You know, when there was guys that were covered, he was just like, no, I'll just take off and run. If he's willing to make that throw and he's completing it, that's how you'll know that he's the guy.
I definitely agree in that aspect. I think we do need to see him push those tight windows a little bit.
Right.
And I said it so many times last year. It's like, if you're scoring 30 points and losing and you throw one pick, but it's a learning opportunity, right? You go out there, throw into tight coverage, and maybe it doesn't go your way every time.
Right.
As long as you're learning, growing, and developing from that, I'm okay. Same thing that I said time and time again last year is it's all about Justin Fields' development at this point, and that still rings true in this season. I do think that we have to give him a little bit more than 4 weeks to make that assessment. I'm going to say by the bye week, you will know if Justin Fields is your guy or not.
So Brent did the homework for us. This is the first 4 opponents that the Bears face.
Okay, Colts, Packers, Bucks, Chiefs.
Now
are our first 4 games.
The Colts have a rookie quarterback.
Are we sure about the Colts? Because
that's the preseason. So they played the Packers, the Bucks, the Chiefs, and the Broncos the first 4 games.
That sounds a lot like a 3-1 record to me.
I mean, obviously, I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs. The Broncos, that'll be a tricky game, but it's at home.
The Broncos will not be a tricky. Did you watch the Broncos at all last season?
Yeah, but they got Sean
They're
Payton.
garbage.
And Sean Payton has to be able to do something better than what they had last season.
It's Russell Wilson. He's not Danger Russ anymore.
No, he's not. That's why they took him off that Subway commercial, because he was just trash.
But no, ultimately, that sounds like a potential 3-1 record to me. 2-2 at worst. I would say you definitely win 2 out of those games.
And you're already almost to what you won last
week
season.
1. Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield, I think that's a winnable game. He's in a new system. He's not going to exactly be a world beater, although he does have a lot of weapons out there in Tampa Bay. Don't get me wrong. Kansas City, I mean, unless Justin Fields absolutely has the performance of his life, Patrick Mahomes will do Patrick Mahomes things and we'll end up losing that game. That's okay with me at week 3 in the season. Now, if it comes down to the playoffs, obviously that's a different story. But
right.
Brent here in the chat is saying, but do we get overhyped when we beat new QBs?
Yeah. You know why? Because a win is a win in this league.
So for the Bears-Packers rivalry purpose, yes, I'm going to get a little fanboyed, so to speak, but I'm not going to judge Justin Fields' performance in that game too much unless he just absolutely goes out there and kills their defense.
So we're only going to judge if he does well, huh? We're going to be like, yeah, hell yeah, he did really well.
No, I'm going to judge good or bad.
All right.
100%. I will be the first one to critique him if he struggles, and I will be the first one to praise him if he does well. I mean, ultimately, as you alluded to, Ace, the Bears have the perfect situation this season. This roster is young talent. It's being developed from the ground up the right way. And, you look at it in this situation as even if Fields plays poorly, we will draft a quarterback next year. Like, we have an out.
Right. It is a kind of a win-win situation other than watching bad football, I guess, on Sundays would be the only negative if Fields isn't the guy.
Hey, but here's Bears fans. We've watched a lot of Bears. We've watched a lot of
terrible quarterbacks, right? But here's the thing. Justin Fields was the main reason that I watched Bears games last season.
Oh, absolutely. That was the only reason.
Right. And then as the season got going, he started being more comfortable running. And then he's making these throws down the field here and there, not every time. but then he gets hurt and he was out, and then it was like, I don't really need to watch
Right.
this team anymore because that's the only reason I watch. It's
Hot
going to be
garbage,
similar
yeah.
to this season, right? Because while you're looking for
Nobody's
guys
gonna
like
watch Trevor Simeon. Well, he's not even on the Bears anymore.
right, but like while you're gonna hope to watch, obviously Darnell Wright, some of the rookies,
Right.
Mooney, Komet, all these guys that are up for contracts here pretty soon. Justin Fields is the only thing that truly 100% matters on this team, because if he's not the guy, this team goes nowhere.
Right, and you've got young pieces around him now.
Right.
Alluding back to the draft for a second, the running back Johnson from Texas that backed up Bijan Robinson,
Yeah.
that guy would have been a 2,000 yard per year rusher if he was on a team like Iowa State or Michigan, somebody like that. It's obviously it was a depth thing for him. He was definitely better than a 4th round talent. I think a lot of teams passed on him because he was the quote unquote backup.
Yeah, I listened
But
to
you look at his measurables and sorry to cut you off there,
that's
Ace,
okay.
but you look at his measurables, he's got fast speed. He's not just a one move guy. He's a guy that can be dynamic, make things happen. He reminds me a lot of David Montgomery.
Yeah, very similar
in comparison, very similar style backs. He's a guy that'll fight for the extra yards. And I like the pickup. So you add you've got pretty much a 3-headed monster at the running back position right now. You've got Johnson, you've got Khalil Herbert, and Deonta Foreman played really well last season in the limited role that he had with the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
So
if he stays healthy, I think he'll be a big bonus for that offense.
Absolutely. So you've got 3 guys in the backfield who are all solid. Johnson's going to be your kind of third down, probably blocking running back, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that can help chip and stuff like that. You've got Darnell Wright to protect Justin Fields. On those rollouts, the bootlegs, the play action, stuff like that, Fields is going to have time to put his eyes downfield and make the right read, and hopefully that's a 40-yard bomb to DJ Moore. I mean we've seen that Fields can throw the deep ball with incredible accuracy. We've only seen flashes of it. He's got a great arm, and I think that with this true number 1 receiver, and then you've got Tyler Scott, a kid out of Cincinnati who, if he didn't play at Cincinnati, he would have gone in the 2nd or 3rd round.
So let me ask you a question about that. Do you think by them drafting that kid that basically Velus is toast?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't. I think Velus Jones continues to play a part in the return game on special teams, and I think you do see him on the field at some point this season. I think that Tyler Scott is your replacement for Darnell Mooney.
You don't think they're going to sign him?
I do not think they're going to sign Darnell Mooney. I think Tyler Scott will step
that's
into
hot
the
take city
shoes
right now. You just dropped some stuff that I know Turtle would be big mad about right now.
So Tyler Scott is basically a younger Darnell Mooney, right? He's a quick, dynamic slot guy. That's all Darnell Mooney is. Darnell Mooney is a great option 3, maybe even a low option 2. He wasn't a number 1 last year. We saw that when all the pressure was on him. Sure, he made a couple spectacular catches, but ultimately he's not a number 1, and he's really not a number 2. He's a great slot option. That's exactly what Tyler Scott is. Tyler Scott comes from Cincinnati, where he kind of almost had a little bit of a dual role. They would give him some tosses and stuff out of the backfield from time to time. The sweeps that our Bears offense loves to do for some reason. Things like that. I think ultimately Tyler Scott replaces Darnell Mooney, and I think Velus Jones, he's a 3rd round draft pick. I mean, you're not just going to give up on him and cut him. Whether he's active every week, sure, that's yet to be seen, but I mean, Velus Jones or Dante Pettis? I'm going to go Velus Jones.
I don't know. I think Fields has a good connection with Pettis. They showed that last season.
Yeah, a great connection with him. He hit him in the hands on 4th down and 3, and he fucking dropped the ball.
So one bad throw or one bad catch, and I can't make all of them.
There were multiple bad catches. if it hits you in the hands and all you have to do is close your hands and you miss it, that's unacceptable.
I mean, I guess when your job title is to be a receiver,
to catch footballs,
you probably want to be able to receive
that's
pass,
like you
but...
going to open your store at 7 a.m. and you decide you're going to open at 8 because you overslept. Like, that's not going to fly.
Yeah. All right. So maybe Bayless is still going to be on the team, but
I think Tyler Scott is your Darnell Mooney replacement. I think Chase Claypool has a big year for the Chicago Bears. I think with now I'm on Darnell Mooney. I think with DJ Moore as that number 1 option and Chase Claypool as a true number 2, I think you see his production go up in a big way. There's more threats on this offense than there were last season. Guys have to respect DJ Moore. They obviously still have to respect Darnell Mooney or Tyler Scott out of the slot, depending on the scheme and package we're running. Chase Claypool's not going to get double teamed like he did last year. He's not going to get as much attention and pressure. I think Chase Claypool steps up in a big way. And as you alluded to earlier, Cole Kmet is a guy who really turned it on there in the second half of the season, made some big catches in tight windows in important times in the games, really. Yep. And, you look at those 4 right there, somebody's going to get open.
Yeah,
ultimately.
You would think.
And Fields is going to have time to go through those progressions and not be running for his life because somebody flopped and gave him 2 seconds to either tuck the ball and run or throw it out of bounds. Right?
Yeah, and I mean, that goes back to there's no excuses right now.
I do like the comment here in the chat. When is Turtle not big mad? LOL. It's a good question. I don't know.
I'll have to go back and watch. But so there's no excuses now, right? You give him a number 1 wide receiver, DJ Moore. You brought in Claypool while he didn't have a really great end of the year with the Bears.
Right.
I'm going to chalk that up as a wash.
Yeah, me too.
I think the biggest weapon is going to be Cole Kmet. I think he's going to be utilized so much in the passing game because you have the speed on the outside, right? With both Claypool and DJ Moore, that's going to open up the middle. And that's where Kmet's going to have a field day. He's a big-bodied dude. He's shown you that he can go up and make the catch when needed.
Right.
I really see, especially in the red zone, which they don't really utilize tight ends too much in the red zone with this offense. I really think you see Cole Kmet play a big role when they're down inside the red zone.
I definitely agree. And I like that, the big tight ends, obviously we got Jimmy Graham at the tail end of his career, but he was a big bodied target that you could go to in the end zone. And I think you do see a lot more of that with Cole Kmet, and that's fine. I'm totally okay with Fields rolling out to the right and just tossing it up to Cole Kmet and letting him bully, basketball bully someone, box him out, and get the easy touchdown. That's totally fine with me. I think this offense, we led the league in scoring for 6 weeks last season. People rarely allude to that or remember it because, the Bears lost all 6 of those games. Okay, we were leading the league in offense.
Yeah.
Our defense
was awful.
Our defense couldn't stop a cold.
Right.
That
You're
was
putting
the
up
problem.
35 points and still losing a game. That's
not on your offense
fault
at that point.
At all.
Not at all. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens this season. Ultimately, we've got some schedule recap here coming up, and I think I don't want to give my prediction before we take the break, but I do believe this team can win a lot of games this coming season.
Oh, we do this every year. Go to break.
All right, guys, we're going to take a 30-second break, and we will be right back. You are listening to Sport Court right here on the Undefeated Sports Network. We will be back in 40 seconds.
I'm undefeated. I came to fight for the love of the game. Unstoppable. That's why I'm undefeated. Off the leash, out of the cage. An animal. That's why I'm undefeated. I know I can beat it. Won't give up, 'cause I believe it. Fight for the love of the
want
All
to
right,
give
guys,
video
we
editing
are
credit.
back.
Hold on. We want to give video editing credit to me. Great videos, as always, by me. So I just wanted to pat
toot your
myself
own
on the
horn
back
there
there.
a little bit.
You know, just
Yep. Toot your
Little
own horn
pat.
there a little bit.
Yeah,
You know,
just a
while
little
we're
bit.
talking about video editing, maybe you need to edit some of the former Chicago Bears players out of those clips.
I know. And in my opening, it's the same thing. I got Roquan Smith in there. I got to redo the whole thing. It's just, but that takes time, you know, and I'm more worried
Absolutely.
about the content that we talk than the videos.
Absolutely. So you guys are tuned into Sport Court right here on the Undefeated Sports Network. As always, I'm Andrew Tarbill. To my left is our guy Angelo Ace Camacho, and we are going to get right in to the Chicago Bears schedule. So
I'm so
Ace,
excited.
why don't you go ahead and pull that schedule up so we have it on deck? Obviously,
All right,
we
let
know...
me see if I can. No, I was going to try to share the screen, but I got it up. We'll go one by one. You and I will both pick. You know, we think the Bears, and I'm going to write it down. I got my handy dandy notebook. We're going to see what each of our records are at the end of this. All right. Mind you, the Bears only won 3 games last season. So
okay, so that's the thing, right? The Bears only won 3 games last season, and a lot of analysts go back to that. But again, the Bears led the league in scoring for 6 weeks and didn't win a game.
mm-hmm.
So take that into consideration when you're making your picks
so
here,
brutal.
Ace. So week 1, let's get right into it. Week 1, home opener at beautiful Soldier Field. The Chicago Bears go up against none other than the most iconic rivalry in all of sports history.
Yeah, thank you.
The Green Bay Packers. What's your take here, Ace?
Well, those of you that have watched this show for the last 2 years we've been doing this.
We know you live in Wisconsin. You take a lot of grief from Packers fans.
I wasn't where I was going with this. I was just going to say, I never, ever take Packers over Bears. So, again, per tradition, I got the Bears winning this one 34-13.
All right. I'm not going to give you a score prediction, but I am going to agree with you. I say the Bears win this one.
All right.
It's Jordan Love's first game under the big lights. I think he has some jitters. I think Justin Fields comes out strong and puts a little bit of silence to some haters right away.
Yep.
I'm so tired of the running back narrative that everybody says, like, oh, Fields is a running back, not a quarterback. Get out of here.
They said that about Lamar Jackson, too.
Right. Who just
he
signed
was an MVP.
Who just signed a $150 million contract. So, and was MVP. Yeah.
Sit down.
All right. So week 2 matchup is against Tampa Bay, correct?
Yes, sir.
Look at that. I'm going off of memory, firing from the hip and doing it the right way.
I dig it.
Week 2 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Pirates of the Caribbean or something, according to the Tennessee Titans fan base.
Yep.
Week 2 against the Bucs. I think this is an interesting matchup. Baker Mayfield, while he's not doing insurance commercials, is going to be slinging the ball around for Tampa Bay. I think Baker Mayfield has a lot of weapons in Tampa. Mike Evans, obviously, namely being the biggest one, probably. I see this being a game that could just be a shootout and come down to the final score, honestly. With that being said, I'm going to give the Bears the benefit of the doubt in this one, and I am going to go with the Bears over Tampa Bay.
I agree. I think you're looking at a team, week 2, got a new quarterback, still adjusting to life without Tom Brady. Justin Fields is going to have another game under his belt with this offense. I think the Bears go out there, and I think it's another convincing win that helps silence some of the noise.
Okay, so this is the point of the schedule that gets interesting, right? Because week 3 is against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
Kansas City is a powerhouse. They are, in my opinion, and you may say I'm wrong, Ace, they are probably the best offense in the NFL.
Without a doubt. I mean, the Eagles were pretty good last year too, but Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, man. Like, that's one that's going to sting until that dude retires, you know?
Okay, so hold on. We got Brent here in the chat asking for score predictions. So let's take a step back
All
and
right.
go back to Tampa Bay.
Okay.
I am going to say that game is going to be 34-31 Chicago Bears favor.
Bro, you got Baker Mayfield put up 31 points against this Bears defense? That's how bad the defense is going to be. That Baker
No, that's
Mayfield's
not how
gonna put-
bad the defense is going to be, but I've seen Mike Evans score 4 touchdowns in a game before.
I mean, yeah, me too. All right, so that man, if the Bears put up back-to-back 30-point games again, I'm gonna be, you
You're
have to
gonna be
towel me
ecstatic.
off. I think the Bears win this one. I see it going maybe 24-17. You know,
Okay.
couple touchdowns, couple field goals.
So moving forward to Kansas City, I think we both agree that it's a game that we fight. It's a game that we try to rally to the end, but ultimately the Bears come up short and lose this game.
I think it'll be similar to the Cowboys game last season where they didn't start out really fast, but then once they started going, they were able to. Well, the Cowboys were already up by that point, but they were able to score for score with them. I think that's kind
Right.
of be this game too. But I do ultimately see Kansas City taking the win. You know, probably 28-17.
I'm going to say 28-21.
Okay.
We only lose by
28-20. I'll say 28-20. I like that a little bit
Okay.
more.
But ultimately, we both say the Bears lose this game, so
Yes,
now we're
sir.
sitting at 2-1.
Yep. Now we go back home to play the Denver Broncos, and
I think
Russ.
this is a statement win. I think Justin Fields comes out, starts strong. The Bears, I'm gonna say, put up 28 in this game, and we hold the Broncos to 17.
okay. I like that prediction. Actually, I'm not sure if the Broncos will get to 17. To be honest,
They're bad.
Russell Wilson's offenses
They are bad.
They might have like 1 or 2 games where they just explode for points. But if you really look at like the history of his scoring in the offense, while they were winning, he still like they weren't putting up monster points. I could see this game being 28-10, 28-13 maybe. You know, I think a late touchdown by the Broncos makes it a little bit more interesting, but I don't see any scenario where
No
you have
scenario.
to worry about that offense.
Yeah, I don't see a scenario where the Bears lose this game. So bam, just like that, we
3-1?
4 weeks into the season and we're 3-1. We've
And they
already
got
won
just
as
as
many
many
games
wins.
as we did last year.
The first quarter as they did the whole last season, so we're already
All
better.
right. Week 5 is that Minnesota?
Nope, that is the Commanders on Thursday night, I believe.
Washington on Thursday night.
Just
That
like
is
last
correct.
year, it was Washington on a Thursday night game, and they lost that
I hate
game
to really
12-7.
sound like a homer here, Ace, but I think this is a very winnable game as well for the
Yeah,
Bears.
without a doubt. That last year was 12-7. That was the score of that game.
That's
I remember
horrible,
Al
but
Michaels took a nap halfway through the game. I'm pretty sure.
that he did. But okay, so this is a very winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
The Washington Commanders did nothing to address their quarterback position, so they're rolling with Taylor Heineke. Right? Taylor Heineke's their number one.
I think
Excuse me.
so. Let me. You know what?
So the Washington Commanders are rolling with Taylor Heineke at quarterback. Taylor Heineke is not a world beater by any means. Again, scored 12 points on the Bears last season. No, that might have been Carson Wentz at that point.
Carson Wentz, but no,
Okay.
that can't be. Sam Howell is the quarterback.
Who?
Sam Howell.
Exactly. So, all right. Sam Howell is the quarterback here. I am gonna have to look up who Sam Howell is because I've never.
Well, I can give you a
never
little
heard that
bit.
name.
He's the projected starter for the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
He was drafted in the 5th round in the 2022 draft.
Okay. And has he seen any playing time?
I'm trying to wait for the stupid page to
No,
load.
you're fine. You're fine.
He has 1 touchdown 1 interception, 169 yards,
There we go.
and a rating of
Okay.
83.
Okay.
So he's
So-
very average.
So a very average, God, that rings like Alex Smith when he was with the 49ers stat line, just a very game managery.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Chicago Bears win this game. I don't think this one is close. I'm going to say this is the third 30-point game of the season for our Chicago
Lord.
Bears, and we finished this
Excited.
game. I am going to say 31-17.
Oh man,
I'm drinking the
That is a
Kool-Aid.
lot. Yeah, but this happened
All right.
last season.
Happens every season.
Yeah,
right?
we
I'm
go
a
through
Bears fan,
the
man.
schedule, and it's like, oh yeah, they only won 3 games last year, so we got to make sure we temper our expectations. Anyways, I think they win this game. I don't know if 31. I see like 27-17, somewhere around there.
Okay, so we're 4 points
Pretty
off
close.
of each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
So
But I can't get all 30
what's
point
the difference?
bangers
Is
over
that a
here.
missed extra point by Robbie Gold? Is that why they only get 27? Oh,
Yeah.
you like what I did there,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, because he's going to be the kicker.
I just slid Robbie Gold
Uh-huh.
right back into
Yeah.
the equation.
Every time they talk about it, he always
Bring
avoids
Robbie
the question.
home.
I wish.
Apparently, Ryan Poles tried to trade for him in 2020. That came out on Waddle and Sylvie, I believe, earlier in the week.
It did.
Shout
he
out
was
to
on.
those! Shout out to those minds on ESPN 1000. So here we are, Ace. We are through 5 games of the season,
And now we
have
get
our
to the
Bears winning
Vikings.
4 games.
Yep.
Now we get to the Minnesota Vikings.
And I believe that game is home for the Bears.
So I'm gonna say the Bears win this one. I think the Bears split the series. Wow, that's a mouthful. With the Minnesota Vikings this season. So when we get back to Minnesota later, remind me that I said we're going to lose to them.
Yeah, I will.
Ultimately, I think at home we win, away we lose against the Vikings, and I'm going to say the Bears win this game. I'm going to go 24-14.
That's a solid, I think, score. I got Bears beating Vikings. 24-17 sounds about right. Yeah. Kirk Cousins ain't a world beater, so
No, he's not. And you shut Justin Jefferson down. We've seen it. You shut Justin Jefferson down. What
Right.
options do they have?
exactly.
So, and ultimately, we have one of the best young secondaries potentially in this league.
Yeah.
And we added more depth to the secondary in the draft. So, interesting. It'll be an interesting game. But so we're through 6 weeks, Ace, and that puts us at what? 5-1, correct?
5-1 for a team that was a 3-win team last
Three-win
year. So
team
you already
a
almost
season ago.
doubled.
So a 3-win team a season ago that led the league in scoring for 6 weeks, didn't win a game, and also had 8 games decided by 1 touchdown or less.
I was actually going to bring that stat up, but I appreciate you
So-
bringing it up because it's true. By 1 score or
any
less.
given Sunday, my friend. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can't hold the 3-win record against them because they were in almost
Right.
every
And then
game.
there were crazy circumstances where like that dude that was a Viking at one point, fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Bayless fumbled the ball twice.
Yep.
Justin threw 1 intercept. Like there's 4 games right there that ended with
Justin
a turnover.
throws a pick and doesn't touch the guy down. He jumps
Yep,
over him and
yep.
then he stands back up and runs in for the touchdown, and that's the
Yes.
deciding factor. Like there were some oddities out there, but anyway, we've got our Chicago Bears at 5-1, almost double the win record of last season.
So
And
then we
we're
go on
going into week
to
7.
against the Raiders at Chicago.
Yes, this is a game that I am hoping to go to with some of my friends. and
I
family.
want to go to this too. Let me know if you go. We'll link up
So
before.
we will talk about that. Me and some other buddies are thinking about chipping in on a box actually. So
Ooh, big
we will-
time. Huh?
we will talk about it and
Yeah, that's nice.
stuff offline, but you are more than welcome to help eat some of that cost and come down and sit in a box with me and
I'll
drink
come sit
beers,
in
eat
there
food and
and
watch
cheer
the
on the
Chicago
Bears.
hopefully beat the Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Hey, I did not.
I don't even
call-
know if Vegas realizes that they've shown up yet.
I didn't call Washington by their old name, so I'm
Nope,
doing
that's
better.
good. Yep. So, all right,
This is a politically correct show here on the Undefeated Sports Network.
tonight.
I will not Mike North my way off the air
Yeah, please
by
don't.
saying the Redskins. 10
Please.
times.
Oh, well, you said it once. I think there's like a 5-time limit, and then
Yeah.
then we get
For sure.
censored. But
So moving forward, Bears Raiders. I think this is an interesting game.
Mhm.
This is a game that could go either way, and for the sake of our record up to this point, I'm gonna say the Vegas Raiders win this one.
Come on, Tarbill. How can you even
Jimmy
do
G.
that?
No, I trying to spin it the other way. I can't. The Bears win this one, man. The
Oh,
Bears win
thank
this one all
God
the
you
way.
came back to the right side of the fucking ledger. Freaking ledger. Jeez.
The
All right,
Bears
so
I'm gonna say the Bears win this game 21-17.
21-17. That's a competitive game. That's a game that would have me on the edge of my seat for.
Yep.
Bears Raiders. This one's interesting because the Bears played the Raiders 2 years ago, I think, in Vegas, and the Bears lost that game.
Yes.
Or did they win? They did, right?
Yep.
That
2
was
years ago,
Cody
they lost.
Parkey missed field goal, right? I'm pretty sure
Yes,
doink field
yes, it
goal.
was.
Yeah. That sounds about right to ruin my night.
It was 3 years ago. Sorry.
You're right. It was. So, all right.
Yes.
Vegas coming to Chicago, the middle of fall.
October 22nd to be exact. So
Handsome, yeah, but handsome Jimmy G coming home.
he's an Eastern Illinois guy.
That's right.
right?
You know, he's coming home.
He played
all the
played
cameras
football with or at the same school as Tony Romo.
He did, very much so. I think the Bears secondary shuts Devontae Adams down.
Okay.
And I don't think the Raiders have anything other than him, really.
Josh Jacobs.
Eh.
Our new
Well,
defensive
yeah, you're right. All
lineman
right.
is
So
gonna take care of him, right?
but off of last season, the run defense is going to be suspect. So, okay.
Our
I
new
think
defensive
when they
lineman-
got rid of Derek Carr and got Jimmy G, you got the same quarterback. Right.
right.
And Derek
like,
Carr
hey,
was healthier.
My
was able to
twin
st-
brother's available to fill in for
Right.
me. What
and
do you
Derek
think
Carr
about that?
stayed more healthy than Garoppolo has. So
Right.
I think
I didn't really understand. That's a very lateral move, and I'm
Yeah,
glad you said that because
it's not like you went like from Derek Carr and you got like Aaron Rodgers, right?
it's,
you
it's
got
like the Saints
Derek
going
Carr
out.
and
It's like the Saints moving from Andy Dalton.
all
I
right,
don't
so
get it, but
Jimmy G versus JF1. I got the Bears stomping this game. I
stomping
see
this game. He's gonna say 34.
34. Very good. 20.
34-20.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
And we're in the box. We're enjoying a bunch of scoring, hanging out. That's the
enjoying a
best
bunch
kind of day.
beers, some food.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great day.
Yeah, I don't want a game where I got to worry when I'm in a box. You know, like
Right.
let the
No,
shit be
yeah,
over at
I agree.
halftime so I can just have a good time.
I agree 100%. So, what's our record at now?
6-1. So
6-1.
they doubled their record
So
from
we are
last season
6-1 now.
already.
Week 8 is Detroit Lions.
Yeah, no, Chargers.
Chargers, then Lions.
Nope.
No,
Well,
we don't play the Lions.
we don't play
the.
the Lions till November 19th.
That's wild.
But
Brent's
all right,
saying
so
do a live show from the box. We might be able to do that. We might not be able to do that. It depends on how the game
I don't know
goes,
if they'll
man.
let us bring our stuff in, but we could use our phones.
We can use our phones.
That's right, we could definitely.
And-
all right, so
yeah.
Bears Chargers, October 29th. That's a prime time game.
Bears
All right, and I believe-
Chargers.
That's the first prime time game other than the Thursday night game. It is.
I am going to give this one to the Chargers. Justin Herbert's going to be a little too much for our defense. I think it's going to be a shootout, but ultimately, I think this game goes in favor of the Chargers. I'm going to say 28-24. So it's not a beating. It's another close
Right.
game.
Yeah.
It's a heartbreaker for Bears fans, but ultimately we lose this one. What do you think, Ace?
I think I don't think the Chargers defense is that great. They're okay. But so are the Bears defense. I think
Right.
Chargers win this game.
Okay.
I think I could see it being 24-21. Late field goal wins the game. Yeah.
So a very respectable 6-2.
Yeah. For
Very
right now,
respectable 6.
if they're 6-2 at this point, I'm gonna be the happiest person in the world. All right.
And
So then
we know Justin Fields is the guy by this point. If they're 6-2,
I would say so, because if
Okay.
they're putting up as many 30 bangers as you're talking,
I've given them 3.
three of them,
3
of the
bangers.
6. So like, and we're
Yep.
like 29, 28. Like, if we're putting up those kind of numbers, I'm good with it.
I'm
And we're
totally
winning,
good with
I'm
as
good
well.
with it.
Yep.
He's the guy.
So next game.
So week 9, they play the Saints in New Orleans. So this is that little bit of a stretch that's going to be difficult for the Bears, where they play 4 out of the next 5 games, starting with the Chargers away.
On the
So
road, yes.
yeah. So this is the last of the back-to-back aways against the Saints in New Orleans. This one, can I take the lead?
Absolutely.
I see the Bears losing this game. Derek
What?
Carr, I think, is going to
Derek
have a.
Carr is their quarterback.
I know. But you're in the Superdome, right?
Okay.
It's loud. The Saints always play well there. I just see the Bears losing like 21-17. Seems like one of those types of games.
So I do believe our guy Kev from the Undefeated Sports Network is going to be at that game.
He will be.
Or not that game, but he's going to be at a game this year. Sorry, I think he's going to Jacksonville. My bad. Either way, Kev's a New Orleans fan, so I'm going to say, for his sake, that the Bears win this game 38-0. I'm just kidding. No. Ultimately, I think Derek Carr's not the guy. Again, he's Jimmy G. He's the same guy, except he gets injured less.
Yeah. So you got him
Michael
winning?
Thomas is back. He's going to be healthy, right? Supposedly.
Yep. Alvin Kamara's still there.
I'm going to say the Bears win this game 30. I'm giving us our fourth 30-point game of the season. 31-21 Chicago Bears.
Yo, I love it. I love the enthusiasm about this team right now.
How good is New Orleans defense? It's not that good.
I mean, it's not, but the Superdome is the Superdome, man. Like, teams struggle.
It's not Seattle, dude. It's not
All right,
Seattle.
all right.
It's not Denver.
So that was the first game we did not agree on.
That is true.
So now we go further. We got this is when the Bears come back home. Prime time game, Monday night, I believe.
Okay.
Against the Carolina Panthers. This game is interesting, right? Because you got the quarterback that everybody thought the Bears should try to get with that number 1 pick before they traded out.
The Chicago Bears absolutely win this game. I got to stop you right there. The Bears come out. It's not even close. They put P.J. Walker in at halftime.
Well, is this another 30-pointer or what?
Let him annihilate his old team. No. This is Bryce Young's going to be good. I'm an Alabama fan. Roll Tide. I have to agree that Bryce Young's going to be good. But Justin Fields is going to be better. Chicago Bears win this game. In my opinion, I am going to go 28-17.
Okay. I like that. I think the Bears win this game. I think it's closer than I think
They
it's more
have to,
low
otherwise
scoring.
they're hurting their own draft pick.
Well, it's
year.
kind of a win-win, right? Because if they
Right.
lose, their pick gets better. If they win, the Panthers pick gets better. So
right.
it's
Yeah,
double
fair
edged.
enough.
But I think you see a game where Fields shows that the Bears made the right decision with sticking with him.
Okay.
I could see like 24-10.
24-10. I love it. I think that's
24-10.
a little aggressive, but
Eh.
let's go. So what are our records at this point?
All right, so I have the Bears so far at 7-3, and you have them at 8-2.
8-2.
Most people don't have them winning
go.
more than 7 games, and we're already halfway through the season, and they've reached that point. So
Okay.
this is gonna get nuts.
8-2. Let's go.
All right, so then they go
Leading
to
the division at 8-2, probably.
probably at that point. Yeah.
So
then you go to Detroit.
finally, we go to Detroit.
Yep. It's in
Bears-
Detroit. I think the
Bears lose
Lions.
this game.
I think the Lions win this game. probably 24-17.
I'm right there with you. 24-17. It's at Ford Field.
Mm-hmm.
The Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell is an animal, man. This guy's biting at people's kneecaps and going out there giving high energy speeches like no one else can. I think it's a tough game, but ultimately the Bears come up short by a touchdown.
Yep.
So bam, that puts me at 8-3, and that puts you at 7-4.
Yep. And then the Bears play the Vikings Monday Night Football the Monday after Thanksgiving, which will be a great way to cap off an excellent weekend, like an excellent little 5 days of football with the Bears and the Vikings. And I believe this is
In Chicago?
No, it's in Minnesota. I think the Bears win this game. I think it's close.
I think I said earlier that the Bears have to lose this game.
Yes, you did. So I have to mark that.
Yes.
So you lost this one. I think the Bears win this game 27-24.
27-24. I think they lose this game. I'm going to say 28-21.
Okay.
All
Then
right.
so then they play the Lions again. Let me just say this. I hate when the NFL does that. When you play an opponent, you have a week off, and then you play that
And then you play
opponent
them again.
Yeah,
come
that's
on.
so stupid.
Schedule better.
Right.
Roger, if you're listening, do a better job.
For real. How just ugh. All right, so they play the Lions again.
I think the Bears win this one. I think they're pissed off that they lost to Detroit a couple weeks ago at Ford Field. I think they put it all together, take out all the stops, and for the 5th time this season, the Bears score more than 30 points. The Bears come out, and I am going to say our Chicago Bears come out and win this game. I am going to go 37 big ones to 28 points.
I mean, dude,
I think
these 30-point games are going to get me excited.
We had 6 of them last season, right?
Yeah, I know, and they were the best 6 weeks of my life.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
They were the best 6 weeks of my football life when they were putting up those points. All right, so you have them winning, even though I think you said that they would split the division, and so that would constitute in a loss.
That is not what I said.
It's okay.
I said they would
It's okay.
split the series. The series.
I have the Bears. So they won in Detroit.
I said they lost in Detroit.
Yeah, did you?
I did.
Okay, so yeah, you did. So okay, all right. So you're my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Take a step back there, buddy.
I think the Bears sweep the Lions.
Okay.
I think they're out, like you said, to make a point. They got embarrassed at the end of the year last season. They're not going to let that happen again.
They did.
I say 30-20.
30-20. I like it. I like the enthusiasm, Ace.
That's what I do.
All right. Let's go. Next game. Rapid
Browns,
fire here.
Bears. It's a TBD game, so we don't know the time, but they're in Cleveland, and nobody likes to go to Cleveland on vacation.
This game right here is going to be totally dependent on how both the Bears and the Browns are playing. It is going to be flexed into a prime spot if both the Bears and Browns are competitive. If not, it'll be flexed to a 325 slot on the B side crew.
Yeah.
So
the crap.
Ultimately, I think both of these teams are going to be competitive. I think clearly with the Bears, obviously, and then with Deshaun Watson in his second year with the Cleveland Browns, he's going to start doing Deshaun. I don't want to say he's going to start.
He's going to start doing Deshaun Watson things. Yeah, so he'll be in the massage parlor.
Yeah, I think he's going to start being a good quarterback again. Let's say that.
Hey, thank you. Somebody got my reference. I'm so happy because I said nobody wants to go to Cleveland on vacation.
I got it. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to inflate your. I don't want to say ego right now.
No, it's my ego. It's up
your Bears fandom.
It's in my Bears.
Your genius is showing a little.
We call it a cubby chubby. I don't know what we call a Bears one, but
all right,
I got it.
Anyways, so next game.
So wait, we got to pick who wins this game. We didn't pick.
What game? Sorry,
the Cleveland game.
Cleveland. We win. The Bears win. 21-17.
All right. Looking at these records right now, I feel like I need the Bears to lose a little more. Um,
Yeah.
because right now you
So
have them at 10-4,
okay.
and I have them at 9-4.
Okay.
I'm gonna say they lose this game.
Wait, how is that possible? Hold on. I have
Maybe I
them at
put.
10-4, and you have them at 9-4.
Well, I didn't pick
You
this
haven't
game
picked
yet.
this game yet.
Right.
Sorry.
So
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead. My
think
bad.
they lose this game.
Okay.
I
So that
think
puts us at 9-5 for you and 10-4 for
10-4
me.
for you.
Sorry,
Now,
score prediction.
Cardinals on Christmas Eve. Oh, that's gonna be a terrible freaking game.
So, is this in Arizona or Chicago?
No, it's in Chicago, so it's gonna be cold.
Ooh, that's gonna be a cold one.
Yeah,
You might be able to get some cheap tickets and go watch.
I
it,
bet
though.
you could on Christmas
I
Eve.
might just have to do that. Let's see. I don't know.
You would think it'd be Kyler Murray back from injury, right? By this
Kyler
point?
Murray's about 4'7", so I'm gonna have to say the Bears win this one now.
Okay.
In all seriousness, Brent wants to know your score.
Sorry.
For the Browns
All
game.
right. 24-17 Browns.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. I said score and you just ignored me, but
That's my fault. I was
that's all right. I'll forgive
too
you.
excited about these records right now.
So, Chicago Bears, Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray back from injury. I think we injure him again. I'm just kidding. I never wish injury on anyone. With that being said, I think that the Chicago Bears lose this one. I think that it's cold. Kyler Murray comes out on a vengeance. He puts some extensions in his shoes so he gains a couple inches and he can see over the line. No, Kyler Murray's a very respectable quarterback in this league, even if he is short. But I think the Cardinals win this one. I think it's a cold, run it out type of game. I think the Bears thrive in those games, though. It's hard for me to make this point.
But the schedules don't line up, or the records don't line up, man. They can't win 11 games next season.
I'm going to give the Bears a loss on this one. I'm going to say it's a cold, grinded out type of game. The Bears lose 10-13.
That seems like a fair score. I think the Bears win this game. I think they win 17-9.
Okay, I like it.
Keep them out of the end zone.
Let's keep it moving right on to that next game, Ace.
The Falcons. Falcons.
Ooh, the Atlanta Redbirds
in Chicago. It was in Atlanta last
Chicago.
season, and the Bears lost that game. Not
for
without
me,
effort.
For me, I'm gonna say the Bears win this game. Bears win this game 21-17.
Okay. I think the Bears win this game as well.
Okay.
21-13.
Okay. So what are our records at now, Ace? Let's take a conscious
I have the
look.
Bears at 11-5.
Okay.
And you have them at 11-5 also.
Okay.
So clearly they won the division at this point.
So we're deadlocked at 11-5. The Bears have won the division at this point.
And by now, Chicago is raising banners in preparation for Super Bears Super Bowl at this point.
Yeah, I've got the Justin Fields tattoo already.
MVP season for Justin Fields. Eberflus is Coach of the Year. This turned out to be a fantastic season.
11-5 here, so that's.
And then we wrap the season against
the Green Bay
Packers. Now, here's the thing, right? If the Bears locked up the division, right, at 11-5,
they're going to sit. Okay, so we're at this point. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, Ace. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're at this point in the season where, like, you got to start looking at, like, 1 seed type of thing at 11-5. Like, you could be in the mix for the number 1 seed in the playoffs.
But if you're not, you're going to sit all your starters and let PJ Walker play, give your starters a rest. For that reason, I am going to say the Chicago Bears lose this game with their B team out there, although PJ Walker tore it up in the XFL.
He did.
Shout out to that. Or I'm sorry, not the XFL. PJ Walker
Whatever was it called? AFL,
was the AAF.
AAF, something like that. I don't know. There's
No,
like
it
seven.
was the XFL. He came from the XFL in 2020 before COVID shut it down.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That is.
He was
Yep.
the DC Defenders leading scorer, I do
Yep.
believe, through 6 weeks of the season before
Look
COVID
at
hit
you
and shut the
throwing
world
out
down.
the. You always bring out that XFL knowledge, man.
Hey.
I love it.
I'm a St. Louis Battlehawks diehard. Caw.
Call.
Looking at this game, I think, again, all the starters sit. I believe for that reason, the Green Bay Packers win this one with Jordan Love starting. I'm going to say 17-14. They barely beat our B team.
14. So you have the Bears ending the season at
11
11 and
And
6.
There we go.
Oh, my God.
I was honest to God, before I looked at the schedule in detail, I was thinking 10 wins. So I'm not that far off.
All right. So I think, personally, even if the Bears lock up that spot, I think they use this game as an opportunity to show everybody, Packers included, that the rivalry has shifted. I think they go out there the last week of the season, they put up 30 points, 34.
So this is their 6th 30-point game of the season?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. They put up 6 last season.
They did.
So it 34-17 Bears to
So that
end the
puts-
season 12-5 for me. Oh wow, I got way over there crazy.
Okay. So
oh,
here's
all
the
right.
thing. A lot of people have the Bears at 7 to 9 wins this
Yeah.
season, right?
Yep.
So I said before we even started this in the pre-show that I was thinking about 10 wins. So
Yep.
I'm 1 win over that. You're 2 wins over. I think 10's a very achievable number with this schedule.
So the way you look at the NFL, right, is everybody's pretty close except for maybe 1 or 2 teams are like the Chiefs and the
Absolutely.
Eagles, right?
Any given Sunday, my friend.
Right, any given Sunday, I don't think it's crazy to think 12-5, 11-6, especially if you look at, like you said, last year they lost 8 games by 1 score or less.
Yeah.
A couple things go right. You're looking at 5 extra wins, 4 extra wins. You're already at that 7 from in last season, so why can't that change for this season?
Absolutely.
I think those are pretty respectable records.
I think if all the things go in the Bears' favor, you're looking at 11 wins. I think worst case scenario, this team wins 9 games. And I think
if they win 9 games, Justin Fields is the quarterback, without a doubt.
That's still 9 games is still a respectable enough record to,
and they still might make the playoffs.
Make the
at 9
playoffs.
wins.
Yeah.
So if let's say you win 9 games, you've already tripled the win total from last season. Obviously,
we did it at 8-8 in 2021, right?
Right. And I mean, to me, that would say Justin is the guy, right? Because
absolutely
he led them to that. I think if they make the playoffs, that's a bonus.
Real quick, I have some breaking news.
What?
Packers suck.
Packers suck.
Packers
I love
suck.
it. I love it. We always end the show on such a bright note. It's
No,
fantastic.
to wrap up here, Ace, I think that we have a very
Interesting.
an interesting future shaping season ahead of us.
Yep.
Either we get the records that we just talked about, everybody's fat, dumb, and happy for the Bears, or we have another lackluster season. And so Brent's saying 11-5. Ha 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 ha. So Brent,
what's the over under for the season?
I don't know. I'd have to look. It's
Because
probably like
if we're
12.
thinking 12 and 11, I'm sure it can't be more than 7.
So Brent, give us your prediction in the chat before we wrap up. I want to know how many games you think the Chicago Bears win. Also, is Brent a Bears fan? Ace, I know you know.
It depends on the time of day.
Okay.
It depends on the time of day. He's not gonna like that I said that because I always rag on him for it. But I think
Okay.
he likes the Bears, but he doesn't he's not us. You know, like
Yeah, fair enough.
if you cut my wrist, I'm bleeding blue and orange. So
Right.
it's just who I am.
I've got a Bears tattoo on my keister. I do not.
Well,
Um,
if they go 12
Anyways.
and 5, I'll get one. I will get one.
all right. Brent's saying 9-7. Let me put that up on the screen so everybody can see it. 9-7. All right. So Brent, you can, if you would like, comment the 2 games that outlie for you that were different from my record prediction at 11-5. I'm interested to see which 2 teams you think that we lose to that I thought we would beat.
Well,
And I just have to put this up for everybody.
yeah, we did. We did cry together when
Cried
the Cubs
together
won
when
the
the
World
Cubs
Series.
won the World Series.
We did. Yeah, we
So
cried. Me
I
and
was
Brent cried.
driving
We
when the
shared
Cubs
some
won
hugs.
the World Series. I worked second shift at the time. I was driving back to my fiance at the time worked at Buffalo Wild Wings, so I was driving back there, and I stayed at work. Couldn't stay at work anymore watching TV. Got in the car, heard that last out, and I pulled over to the side of the road. I was doing 75. I pulled over to the side of the road and cried like a man.
Yeah, baby.
No lie.
Brr. Yeah, you know why? Because that was
That was the
that was
greatest
top
moment
3
in Chicago
greatest
sports
moments of my
history.
life.
Yeah,
Of my life.
for sure. All right, so Brent thinks the Raiders beat the Chicago Bears.
I have a friend who's a Raiders fan. That's the only
I think
reason I
you go either
really
way.
said the Bears were going to pound the crap out of them.
Fair enough. This is a PG network, Ace. What are you doing? Come on, fuck.
I've been
man.
so my kid likes to watch these back, so I've been working on not saying, shit
See,
or
and
damn,
I'm
that
sorry,
kind
I
of
just
thing.
dropped an F-bomb as a joke while
It's
you
all
were
right.
saying that. But
It's all right. Oh, and the
and
Saints.
second game is the Saints. Okay.
Yeah.
Those
All right.
games could go either way. I respect that. Good commentary. Thanks for commenting in, Brent. Do appreciate your opinions as always. Appreciate each and every one of you that joined us tonight for another episode of Sport Court. I think we've covered everything we can cover tonight, Ace. We've talked Bears. We've talked the schedule. I think
we go to bed happy at this rate.
I think we're happy Bears fans at 11 or 12 wins next season.
Oh,
We'll see when we do our
happy?
season ending.
Y'all don't even
recap
know.
show.
You will see a different side of me if the
we're-
Bears are 12 and 5.
We'll see it when we do our season ending recap show if we're happy or if we're upset because our predictions were either spot on or way off.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
We'll see what happens.
All
All
right,
right,
well,
guys. As always, we're going to wrap up. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us right here on the Undefeated Sports Network on Sport Court. This is Sport Court, and Sport Court is out of session.
out of session.
Boom. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.